Welcome to the Ostomy Body Positive Confidence Chronicles, where we highlight inspiring ostomy journeys through education, relatable stories, and expert insights. We also feature companies, products, and professionals improving ostomy care. Please like, share, subscribe, and or join our movement. The Facebook group link is in the description below.
Okay.
And then you already probably know the drill here is that it takes a few seconds to get live in the group.
Mm-hmm.
And until then, I like to entertain.
Okay.
You just do it, whatever music's in your head, you just
Yes.
feel like if you feel the urge, just go for it. But all right, so we're live. Let me get set up here. All right, welcome back, Ostomy Body Positive. We have Jearlean Taylor here, blessing us with her lovely presence, and she's got rocking this awesome Ostomy Warrior, Ostomy Survivor sweater. I love it. Cool. Scott says the sound is good, so we're ready.
Good.
All right. So thank you, Jearlean, for coming on and blessing us and having you on. You're someone who I see your name all the time out and about, and I've seen, I think like you have like this. I don't know what your resume looks like, but it's got to be pretty huge because you're into fashion, modeling, speaking, advocacy.
Yes.
So you have a Facebook group. I think you're like a Hollister brand ambassador too, right?
Yeah, I do stuff for Hollister.
I mean, what else am I missing?
Yes, it's a lot, I know.
Yeah, so tell us more about you and who you are as a person.
Yeah, so I'm all those things, but I'm Jearlean Taylor. I am from the state of Maryland, the city of Baltimore. Yay, Ravens! Always got to shout out my football team. But yes, I am a fashion model. I am an author, motivational speaker. I am an ostomy advocate. So it's a lot. I wear a lot of hats. I am, and I know we'll talk about it later, but I am a double ostomate.
Okay.
And also a cancer survivor as well.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, talk about those your ostomies and why you have them and how long you've had.
Yeah, sure. So I was diagnosed at the age of 3 years old with a rare form of cancer. And because of the cancer, where it was located, and the radiation, I had radiation, chemo, surgery. I had it all done. But because of the radiation mostly, and where the tumors was, it wasn't optional for me to get ostomy surgery.
Sure.
To give me a better quality of life, kind of almost to save my life as well.
Right.
And so because of where the cancer was, it had damaged a lot of that area. So it forced me to have, so I'm a double ostomate.
Okay.
So I have a colostomy and a urostomy that I've had since the age of 3 years old. So
wow.
This year will be about 55 years with as a double ostomate. Yeah, I'll be 58 at the end of the year. So
you'll be 58. I thought you were like maybe 40.
Yeah, but a double ostomate since the age of 3.
Okay.
The good thing and the blessing is I was cancer free a year after my diagnosis and treatments, but then you have to go back to a life of being a double ostomate and being so young.
So long ago. I mean, that was
so long ago. Yes, in the 70s.
Right. And so, I mean, like things have changed so much since then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've got to have that full force. But then also, like at 3 years old, I'd imagine I mean, were you used to it or were you like wanting to like pull them off
you know what? And because I was so young, of course, a lot I don't remember, not until I started growing up. But as my sister recalled, like it's so surprising when she told me, like I was so much reserved. Like I was reserved. I was a quiet child. And was it because of my ostomies, maybe, but I mean, it's all I've known all my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few of you that I've heard say that it's been a part of them. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it does make the circumstances different, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you dated with an ostomy, you went to high school,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
did all these things
Mm-hmm.
as an ostomate.
Yeah, yeah, I did. And my parents were they're not living neither, but they were a big part of adjusting, I would say, to an ostomy. Of course,
Yeah,
I had my own challenges, and we know as ostomates, whether you have one or two, it's still a challenge. And I believe no matter what age, but mine kind of started in starting school in that preteen and teenage years. And
sure,
so yeah.
sure. Yeah. Well, I have the next question I was going to ask you, and I don't know if this affects you, but how
Mhm.
has your ostomy helped you regain confidence in doing something you loved? I mean, you were 3, so I don't know.
Yeah.
How does that really?
One thing I think for me, growing up, again, my parents were a big part of it because I was so young.
Mhm.
But one thing that they did do was like they gave me that encouragement,
Yeah,
especially, starting school, like, just telling me like I'm normal, yes, you have an ostomy bag, but you're normal,
yeah,
and so what happens when you're young, oftentimes, not all the time, you know how sometimes you talk to kids and it kind of goes in one ear and out the
sure,
other,
sure.
but it actually kind of stayed with me. It really,
Okay.
really stayed with me through my teen years and adult years. I mean, I had some challenges during those times,
Yeah,
but it also allowed me, their encouragement allowed me to just take that through my journey. And so
right.
when I grew up, I was like, okay, I can do anything that I want. Of course,
Yeah,
I got into modeling,
yeah,
and I'm just kind of thinking modeling and 2 ostomy bags now.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
but I remember what my mom said, Jearlean, you're gonna be able to do, be, live,
Mhm.
have dreams, follow your passions. And
Right.
so it stuck with me.
Yeah,
And so I,
that's
I felt
good.
like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah, that's great that you had such supportive
Yeah,
parents because that's the impressions that they put in your mind because
yeah.
we're told a lot of things should and could and
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
those things stick and for the positive it stuck with you. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. What's been like a challenge to adjusting to life with an ostomy? Obviously, another question that might be kind of hard to answer, but I don't know. Do you have any memories of being?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this memory that is clear because I felt like I was alone.
Okay.
Like nobody in the world.
Yeah.
Does anybody in the world have, an ostomy? Because back then,
Mhm.
Nicole, we know they have a whole bunch of support groups, ostomy support groups,
Mhm.
right? But back then, like, I'm like, we didn't belong. My parents,
Yeah.
we didn't belong to any support groups, right? And so it was like support from my parents, my brothers, my sisters. That was kind of my support right there.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
remember clearly back then, like, where is the support groups?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
who can I talk to that's walking in my shoes?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
that's something I wish, back then that they had. Maybe they did, maybe they, I don't know.
Well, and any like other people I've heard, like Anthony, Pastor Anthony, we have him,
Mm,
if you've seen him every once in a while on here, but I've had him on and he said that too, like, he'd go to these support groups, but it was like older people. So like
hmm.
again, nothing in common, and
Right.
yeah, they have ostomies, but if you're younger.
Yeah, no, nobody young, no teenagers, no, even when I was, a child,
Mhm.
it was nothing. My only support back then was the American Cancer Society,
Okay. Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
I was, dealing with cancer survivor,
Yeah.
but no,
Yeah.
no ostomy support groups.
Right. Yeah.
So
That made it
that's
difficult.
one thing I can remember that I wish.
And look how
Yeah.
it's changed now. I mean, not only
Oh
do we
my
have
gosh.
like the UOAA and like all these other support groups, but then all
Mhm.
the online support and
Yeah, it's amazing, Nicole. It's really, really amazing.
it is.
I'm so glad, that I'm able to, reach out and relate and talk and share.
Yeah. 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 And you're like I mean, you're an OG, like you've been there, you know? That
Nothing wrong with that,
makes a huge difference because like
yeah,
giving people tips and giving people advice is like
yes,
a lot, you know?
yeah,
And
it's a
especially if
lot.
you've lived it since you were 3. So,
Yeah, yeah.
how has your self-image changed? Now, again, kind of hard,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
or giving advice to somebody else who may be getting an ostomy, like thinking about
Hmm.
their own self-image, because that's an obvious thing. And it's not just females, it's men as well.
And oh, absolutely. I think, you know, when you talk about self-image, it's almost like you're looking at in the mirror at yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, you know, especially those teenage years, you know, starting middle school and then going to high school, you do worry about your self-image.
Yeah.
But I think for me, and it didn't happen till much later, but still, I was wondering, like, why do I look like that person? Why can't I wear what that person is? But I think we have to accept our body for what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Learn to accept, love yourself. If you love yourself, you can love your body, right? And I think that's a big thing with self-image, but also with self-image, you know, for me, I think it's we have to go to the inner. Like
Yeah.
people talk about your inner beauty. I mean,
Yeah.
outer beauty is
Yeah.
external. It
Yeah.
is, you know, but the inner beauty is like the essence of who you are. You know, if you learn yourself from the inside out, you know, that self-image might be a little bit more better to understand and more better to accept,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yep. And I think you said that too. Like, I don't know why this is sticking with me because I wrote them down. But we were asking for people's tips for one of
Hmm.
the things, and you said 3 A's, something accept,
Yeah,
something, something. But that stuck with me too, because
yeah.
it's that it's an internal and external acceptance. But then
Yes.
also like thinking about going into school and things like that, it's almost like, I don't know, was it easier kind of to weed out the people that were like real and not real in a sense?
I think more so in high school because still middle school, high school, kind of stayed to myself.
Mhm.
But you know, my friends in high school were my teammates, right?
Yeah.
My friends in middle school was the kids in my neighborhood who
Yeah.
knew, you know,
Yeah.
a little bit about my journey or whatever. So it's kind of easier to kind of stick to, you know, your familiar friends
Sure.
because at the same time, you know, for me, I was scared to not make friends, but
Hmm.
scared that somebody was like, "Oh, does she have a bag?" And you know, sometimes in our mind, we
Yeah.
think people can see it, but they
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
You
See it,
know,
smell it. Yeah.
yeah,
All of the
yeah,
above.
and then also like with my 3 A's, which is something I tell people, which is accept, adapt, and attitude. You
Hmm.
know, those are kind of my 3 A's that I
Yeah.
still use until this day. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. What is a misconception that people have, which you kind of just said, they think it
Hmm.
smells, they have a bag, like whatever.
Yeah.
Is there something else that you wish more people understood?
You know, I think that could be several things, but I also think often the misconception is that this is the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like this is the end. My life is over.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
can't do and be, I can't get back
Yeah.
to what I used to do,
Mhm.
you know, but I think it's just, you know, something in our mind, you know.
Yeah.
But I think if we just oftentimes a try beats a fail.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know if you're going to be able to do something if you don't try? You know, I think
Yeah.
oftentimes in our mind we think, oh no, I can't, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I can't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take away the T, it says can, you
Yeah. There
know.
you go.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so you really, really can. And I understand being afraid and being afraid to get back what you used to, but
Right.
life is a process and our journey is a process too,
For
you
sure.
know. So,
Yep.
and I think it's got all types of stigma. You can't swim, you can't date, you can't, you know, it's a lot of I can, but what can you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. What can you do?
Right, right. And
Yeah,
eventually you will get to those things, even the things that you can't think you can't do,
right.
will eventually figure out, okay, this is staying, or you figure out a way to make it stay on, or you find the right product that works.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, because when you get ostomy surgery for the first time, you don't know what products that's going to work best for you, and it does take some time to see what works for you,
Right.
But once you figure it out, you'll be more open to like try some new things or go back to what you used to do.
Exactly. So, what's a piece of advice or a tip that you have, or maybe used or found, that makes managing your ostomy easier on a day-to-day basis? Well, you have 2 ostomies, so two, or the advice for anybody who's gonna have one or has one that's struggling.
I think honestly what I just said, try and see what works best for you, because again, we're all different shapes, sizes, we're more, some are more heavier, some are more slimmer. Like me, I've always been slim all my life, but I also had to find products that work for me. And also too, try something new. I know for me, I've been using the same products for years. But I also like to try something new, and also see what products work for your lifestyle. Right. So, I model. So I prefer one piece for my urostomy, but I do wear 2-piece for my colostomy, find out what clothes work best for your body type and your ostomy. I know for me personally, not for everybody, not for all ostomates, I wear high-waist undergarments. Because I have 2 ostomies, I want to make sure they stay in place. I want to make sure also it's comfortable for my ostomy as well, So I think it's just different things. And also these support groups help too. They have suggestions and tips too. I'm always on there, see what they're talking about. But they also have suggestions and tips too. But I think the big thing is finding what products work best for you.
And our bodies are changing, and somebody had wrote that on there too, that one of the tips, they're like, even the slightest change can make a difference.
Absolutely.
And the same with our clothing. It's just like, even people who don't have ostomies, we go through weight fluctuations. And so then obviously our clothes change, they don't fit as much, and then it's make a difference with the
and then ostomies do weight loss too, so they might lose weight, and now your wafer might not fit your body type. So myself, I actually have a support group on Facebook. It's called Ostomy Styles, and what we talk about is dressing with an ostomy. I do live demonstrations. We post pictures. We give suggestions on type of clothing, so it's really been really, really helpful. We have a lot of people on there. A lot of people are active. A lot of them are not, but that's okay. But I love doing live demonstrations.
I love that. Make sure you link that, because I think that's a huge thing, especially with women. We ask a lot of questions about clothing. I mean, that's huge.
Absolutely.
Was there did you go to the Runway of Dreams? I remember we chatted when you were there.
Yes, I did. It was it was several years ago.
Oh, it was several years ago. Okay.
Yeah, but I did go. Yeah, that was really, really nice.
Was
really,
it?
really nice.
Okay.
I love that.
Did you model, or?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, their production was awesome. Well put together.
Okay.
And different people with different disabilities, which I loved. It was, I'm not sure, I don't think I was the only one. Maybe I might have been the only one with an ostomy, but so
okay.
It was
nice. Okay. Because I've been following them for some time. So okay, we got some comments here. Happy hump day. Proud of you ladies. Tori says, thankful for Jearlean, and I'm excited to meet you someday. So Tori,
oh wow.
And Tori also says she wears high-waisted for the same reason as well.
Yes. Again, you go back and see what works for you. You know, of course you got to be careful, because people ask me all the time, you doing high waist? Do you pancake? Do you, and I think you just have to be cautious, make sure you change. And for me, make sure I change and drain. So.
Sure. For sure. Yes. And then Teresa says, when I was in a nursing facility, I had to use what they provided. I think she's talking about supplies, and was having up to 7 leaks a day because I have a flush stoma. Only until I realized and contacted Hollister, and I found out I needed to use a convex. So
yeah, I do too. I wear convex. Yeah,
I do too, because otherwise
yeah.
the stoma likes to retract a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're gonna link your Facebook so everybody, or your
Yeah, I put the name of it in there.
Okay.
Because it's spelled a little bit different. So I
Okay,
did put it in the chat, and then
perfect.
I'll send it to you too.
Okay, perfect. And one last question. I didn't prepare you for this one, but if you had a fortune cookie, if you could write a fortune cookie message about life with an ostomy, what would it say?
So I'll say this one because it's actually my ostomy journey's motto and my own personal life motto. And this could be pertaining to anybody.
Yeah.
And it is that I'm different to make a difference, right? So whatever makes you different, make a difference with it. And so that's what I decided to do, is to take my ostomy journey, because yes, I don't mind being different. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And so what made me different, maybe it is my ostomy journey, yes. And so I decided to make a difference. And so that's why you probably see me all over social media. But to give that motivation, inspiration, and empowerment, that's just, something that we need in our daily life. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think the life's purpose is using something that we've been, given, essentially, and using it towards that positivity and helping other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's what I love about the ostomy community, is that, we help one another, whether it's through tips, whether it's through, inspirational words, or whatever it may be, I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for blessing us, having us on, sharing your story and your awesome fashion advice. We can't wait to see all that. Sometimes I need my own fashion advice. So thank you. And thank you for being a part of the group. And
absolutely. I love Nicole. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I'm usually at work. I'm trying to still work and try to peek at
on the fly.
So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. All right.